The moment their eyes met across the crowded terminal, everything else fell away. Maya gripped the edge of the check-in counter, her hand instinctively moving to her swollen belly as she recognized him, the man whose name she hadn't spoken aloud in 7 years. What she couldn't possibly know was that the boy who'd vanished from her life was now running the very airline refusing to let her board. And he'd never stopped looking for her. Maya Torres fought through the terminal crowd, 7 months pregnant and exhausted. The customer service lines snaked endlessly ahead, and panic clawed at her throat. Her sister's baby shower was tomorrow in Seattle. The sister who'd stood by her through everything. The airline had cancelled her flight without warning, and she was running out of options. "Can I sit down?" she asked the woman behind her, pressing a hand to her lower back. "Of course, honey. You look ready to pop." She wasn't ready to pop. She had 2 months left. But airlines got nervous about pregnant passengers, which is why she needed to sort this out quietly, quickly, before anyone noticed how far along she actually was. When she finally reached the counter, the agent's smile was practiced, empty. "I'm sorry, Ms. Torres. System error. The next flight isn't until tomorrow evening." Tomorrow evening? Maya felt lightheaded. "I can't. My doctor said I shouldn't fly after this week. If I miss today, I miss it entirely. I understand your frustration, but—" "Is there a problem?" The voice came from behind her, deep, familiar, in a way that made her stomach drop. Maya turned slowly, though some part of her already knew. 7 years hadn't changed the sharp line of his jaw or the way he stood, shoulders squared like he was ready to take on the world. But everything else was different. The worn jeans replaced by a tailored suit, the uncertainty in his eyes replaced by something harder, more assured. "Ethan," she breathed. His professional expression shattered. "Maya," the agent glanced between them, clearly confused by whatever was happening. "Get her on the next available flight," Ethan said, his voice rough. "Today. I don't care if you have to bump someone. Sir, we're completely— Figure it out." He hadn't looked away from Maya. "First class. And make sure she has assistance at both airports." The agent's eyebrows shot up. "Yes, Mr. Chen. Right away." Mr. Chen. Maya's brain struggled to catch up. The Ethan she'd known was a grad student, drowning in loans, brilliant but broke. Now he was giving orders like— "You're pregnant," he said quietly. She almost laughed. Of all the things to say after 7 years. "You're observant." Something flickered across his face. Hurt, maybe, or regret. "I have a meeting in 10 minutes. But Maya, He stopped. Started again. "Can we talk?" "After you land." "I don't think that's a good idea." "Please." The single word carried more weight than it should have. Maya found herself nodding before she'd fully decided. "Seattle. I'm flying to Seattle." "I know. I heard." He pulled out a business card, wrote something on the back. "That's my cell. I'll be there tomorrow. The company has offices there now." She looked down at the card. Ethan Chen, Chief Executive Officer, Cascade Airways, CEO. The boy who used to buy her coffee with spare change was now running an airline. "Ms. Torres?" The agent held out a boarding pass. "You're all set. Gate 14. Boarding in 30 minutes. Mr. Chen has also arranged for priority screening and a wheelchair if you need it. I don't need a wheelchair, Maya said automatically. Ethan's mouth quirked. Still stubborn. Still breathing. For a moment, something like their old rhythm flickered between them. Then his phone buzzed and an assistant appeared at his elbow, whispering urgently about the meeting he was missing. Tomorrow, Ethan said, backing away. I'll text you. Then he was gone, swallowed by the crowd, and Maya was left holding a first-class ticket and a business card that felt heavy as a stone. The flight was smooth, too smooth. Maya couldn't sleep, couldn't think about anything except Ethan's face when he'd seen her. The shock, the immediate concern, the way his eyes had dropped to her belly, and something in his expression had just broken. What would he think if he knew? But he couldn't know. This baby wasn't his, after all. She'd moved on, built a life, met someone, married him, divorced him. All in the years since Ethan had disappeared. Although disappeared wasn't quite right. He'd sent a message. I have to go. I'm sorry. 3 sentences that had turned her world inside out. She'd found out she was pregnant 2 weeks later. Not with his child. That relationship had ended months before. But with her ex-boyfriends, a guy she'd briefly tried to restart things with after Ethan left. When she'd told him, he'd made his feelings clear. Get rid of it, or I'm gone. She'd chosen the baby, lost the boyfriend, and spent the next 6.5 years raising her daughter alone. Except now, there was another baby coming. A different father, her ex-husband, though they'd split before she'd realized she was pregnant again. Some people just had terrible luck with timing. When the plane landed, a driver was waiting. He held a sign with her name and escorted her to a car that was definitely too nice for someone who usually took the airport shuttle. Her sister's house was chaos when she arrived. Balloons, streamers, cousins she barely recognized. But her sister, Carmen, took one look at her face and pulled her aside. What happened? You look like you've seen a ghost. Worse, Maya said. I saw Ethan. Carmen's eyes went wide. Ethan. Like the Ethan. He's the CEO of the airline now. He's the one who got me on the flight. Holy shit. He wants to talk. Tomorrow. Carmen studied her face. Are you going to? Maya touched her belly, feeling the baby shift. I don't know what I'd even say. That night, curled up in Carmen's guest room, Maya's phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. There's a coffee shop on Madison, Brew and Bloom, 2 p.m. tomorrow, if you're willing. I owe you more than an explanation, but it's a start. E. Maya closed her eyes. 7 years ago, she would have given anything for this, for answers, for closure. Now? She typed back, I'll think about it. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Then, that's more than I deserve. The baby shower the next morning was exactly what Maya needed. Distracting, loud, full of love and laughter. She watched Carmen open tiny onesies and tried not to think about the box of her daughter's old baby clothes sitting in her storage unit. Tried not to think about Ethan or 2 p.m., or the fact that she'd changed outfits 3 times that morning. You're going, aren't you? Carmen said, catching her checking her phone for the 4th time. "I don't know." "Yes, you do." And she did. Of course she did. At 1:55, Maya stood outside Brew and Bloom, her heart hammering. The baby kicked hard, and she pressed a hand to her side. The door opened. Ethan stepped out, froze when he saw her. "You came." Apparently, I'm a glutton for punishment. He almost smiled. "Should we sit?" The coffee shop was quiet, late afternoon light streaming through the windows. Ethan ordered her a decaf tea without asking, remembered she didn't drink coffee anymore after 2 p.m. The fact that he remembered made her chest tight. "I'm sorry about your mom," he said once they were settled. "I saw the obituary last year. I almost reached out, but I figured you wouldn't want to hear from me." "My mom's fine," Maya said, confused. "What?" "But I saw—" He stopped, shook his head. "Wrong person. God. I'm sorry. I've been searching for you, and He ran a hand through his hair. "I'm doing this all wrong." "Why did you leave?" The question came out harder than she'd intended. Ethan looked down at his cup. When he spoke, his voice was raw. "My brother was arrested, Daniel. He got caught up with some people, made some bad choices, and suddenly he was looking at 10 years. My parents couldn't afford a decent lawyer. I got a job offer in Singapore, some startup, financial software. The pay was insane, enough to get him real legal help." Maya had met Daniel once. Sweet kid, too trusting. "I didn't know. I had to decide that day. They needed an answer immediately, and you were away at that conference. No cell service." He finally met her eyes. "I tried to find you before I left. I went to your apartment, called everyone we knew. I left that message, but I knew it wasn't enough. I knew it was cowardly." "It was," Maya said quietly. "By the time I could have reached out properly, weeks had gone by, then months. I told myself you'd moved on, that you hated me. It felt easier to just let you go." "I did hate you," Maya admitted. "For a while. I deserved it." They sat in silence. Maya watched people pass by the window. A couple holding hands, a man with a dog, a teenager on a skateboard. Normal life, continuing on. "The baby," Ethan said carefully. "When are you due?" 6 weeks, give or take." "And the father?" "Not in the picture." It was easier than explaining the whole mess. The brief marriage, the divorce, finding out about the pregnancy after they'd already signed papers. Ethan nodded slowly. "For what it's worth, I think you're going to be an amazing mother." "I already am one," Maya said. "I have a 6-year-old, Sophia." She watched him process that, watched him do the math, realize it couldn't be his. "Wow," he said finally. I bet she's wonderful." "She is." "Does she look like you?" "Everyone says so." Maya pulled out her phone, showed him a photo. Sophia at the park, grinning with a missing front tooth. "She's beautiful," Ethan said softly. "You've built a whole life." "You have, too. CEO. That's a long way from the guy who used to steal my fries." He laughed, and it sounded sad. "The company grew faster than I expected. After I got Daniel out, I kept working, threw myself into it, realized I had a knack for building things, Cascade Airways was failing when I took over 5 years ago. Now we operate in 20 countries. That's incredible. It's empty. He met her eyes. I have everything I thought I wanted, and it's just empty. Maya didn't know what to say to that. The baby kicked again, and she winced. Are you okay? Ethan asked immediately. Fine. Someone's just practicing karate. Can I? He stopped himself. Sorry, that's too forward. But Maya found herself reaching for his hand, pressing it to her belly. The baby kicked right into his palm, and Ethan's face lit up with wonder. That's amazing, he whispered. Gets old around 3 a.m., Maya said, but she was smiling. They talked until the coffee shop started closing, filling in the gaps. Ethan told her about Singapore, about the years building the company, about the loneliness of success. Maya told him about Sophia, her first words, her obsession with dinosaurs, the way she asked impossible questions about the universe. I should go, Maya said finally. Carmen's probably wondering where I am. Can I see you again? Ethan asked. While you're in Seattle, or I could come to… Where do you live now? Portland. I could come to Portland. Maya hesitated. 7 years ago, she would have said yes without thinking. Now she had Sophia to consider. A baby coming. A life that was complicated enough without adding Ethan Chen back into the mix. But when she looked at him, really looked, she saw the same person she'd fallen for in grad school. Just older, more weathered, maybe more real. One step at a time, she said. I can do one step at a time. Over the next months, Ethan kept his word. He visited Portland every other week, never pushing, never demanding more than Maya was willing to give. He met Sophia, who immediately announced that he had a trustworthy face. He came to ultrasound, appointments, bought the strangest baby gifts, a tiny leather jacket, a onesie that said future CEO. When Maya went into labor 3 weeks early, Ethan was on a flight from Tokyo. He made it to the hospital with an hour to spare, held her hand through the contractions, and cried when the baby, a boy, they named him Lucas, came squalling into the world. You were amazing, Ethan said, brushing sweaty hair from her forehead. I was screaming, Maya corrected, amazingly. Sophia burst into the room an hour later, Carmen trailing behind. Is that my brother? Can I hold him? Why is he so wrinkly? Maya watched Ethan help Sophia into the chair, carefully showing her how to support Lucas's head. Watched her daughter's face fill with wonder as she looked at her new sibling. Mom, Sophia whispered. He's so tiny. You were tinier, Maya said. Really? Really. That night, after visiting hours ended and Sophia had gone home with Carmen, Maya Lepers lay in the hospital bed, with Lucas sleeping in her arms. Ethan sat in the chair beside her, looking exhausted and happier than she'd seen him in, possibly ever. Thank you, Maya said. For what? Being here. I didn't expect… I mean, I know he's not yours biologically, but… He's yours, Ethan interrupted. That's enough for me. If you'll let me, I'd like to be here. For both of them. For all of you. Maya looked at him, this man who'd broken her heart, who'd come back into her life by chance, who'd shown up for her in every way that mattered. "I think I'd like that too," she said. 6 months later, Maya stood in the airport, the same one where they'd reconnected. Lucas was strapped to her chest in a carrier, and Sophia held Ethan's hand, chattering about the plane they were about to board. "First class again?" Maya asked, looking at the tickets. "Only the best for my family," Ethan said, then caught himself. "I mean, if that's okay to say." Maya smiled. "It's okay to say." They'd taken it slow. Slower than either of them wanted, probably. But Maya had learned the hard way that fast and passionate burned out quick. This time, they were building something real. On the plane, Sophia fell asleep against Ethan's shoulder. Lucas nursed and dozed off, and Maya watched them, this strange pieced-together family, and felt something she hadn't felt in years. Complete. "What are you thinking?" Ethan asked softly. "That life is weird. Good weird? The best weird." He reached over, laced his fingers through hers. "Maya Torres, I know we're taking this slow, but I need you to know something." "What?" "I'm not going anywhere. Not this time. Not ever." Maya squeezed his hand. "Good. Because I think I'm going to need help with 2 kids. Just 2? Don't push your luck, Chen." He grinned, and it was the same grin from 7 years ago. Mischievous, full of possibility. Sometimes the best love stories don't follow a straight line. Sometimes they loop back on themselves, take years to resolve, and end up somewhere completely unexpected. But maybe that's what makes them real. Not the fairy tale beginning, but the messy, complicated, absolutely worth it middle. Share this story if you believe in second chances, unexpected reunions, and love that finds its way back, even when the journey takes longer than you'd ever imagine.